So you're making your way through the Pantheon and this fucker shows up and kicks your ass. Go to practice fighting him, but the only thing you seem to be practicing is getting your ass kicked. Well, don't worry, I've got some tips for you. So in all honesty, the best way to beat Zote is to start your game over and let Zote die. Bam, easy win. But say you're invested in your current playthrough, or at least invested in kicking his ass. In that case, let me help you out a bit. Most people probably wouldn't want to touch Zote with a 10-foot pole. But since you're fighting him, I suggest hitting him really hard with a 10-foot pole. Maximizing your nails damage keeps the fight short, and increasing your range allows you to attack from a safer distance, which gives you more time to react. And having the time to react is important, because Zote is all about mix-ups and confusion. Zote has 6 actions he can take. 4 of them are attacks, 2 of them summon stuff. His 4 attacks are his Leaping Sword Strike, his Falling Through the Floor attack, his Flailing attack, and his Short Hop. When he does his Leaping Sword Strike, he jumps, does a small flip, and then strikes the ground, sending out a large shockwave in front of him and a small shockwave behind him. Seems simple enough. However, if Zote feels you are too far, or going behind him, he will do another small flip and reposition in an attempt to hit you. Zote doesn't actually go that far when he repositions, so if you see him doing a sword strike, move to avoid, then if he repositions, simply continue with a dash or double jump in the same direction. Zote is stationary for a moment when he lands, which is a good time to get some hits in. When Zote does his Falling Through the Floor attack, he jumps, decides that we're actually playing Portal, and disappears through the floor, reappearing from the ceiling a few moments later. When he face plants into the ground, he sends out a large shockwave in both directions. Now it's actually very easy to get confused trying to figure out where exactly he will fall from, and my advice is, just don't. You see, this move actually tries to use the fact that you like to keep moving against you. Zote attempts to predict where you are going in the hopes of landing on you directly. So if you just stand still and wait, you are actually able to react very easily to wherever he comes from. Once you avoid the attack, you can get a hit in before he stands up. When Zote flails, he does a short yell before running towards you, swinging his sword wildly. This attack is unique as it is the longest attack he does, the only attack where he doesn't jump, and subsequently the best time to pogo on him. In fact, you have to pogo on him or else you're gonna get hit. But when the attack ends, Zote falls over and creates a small shockwave in both directions. The important bit here being fall over, as in change the distance to his hitbox, sometimes messing up a good pogo. Luckily, a range increase makes this a lot less likely. Zote can also just do the short yell and immediately fall over, just to mess with you. And now we get to his short hop, which is surprisingly one of the most confusing attacks he has. The hop itself is simple. He jumps and then lands, creating a small shockwave in both directions. The targeting is weird though. Sometimes he's trying to land on top of you, other times he's just trying to create shockwaves from a distance. He can chain the short hop up to 3 times, emphasis on up to, because he will often do it 1 or 2 times, then chain it into a Falling Through the Floor attack, or just stop and run around. For the record, when Zote jumps like this, there is no way to tell whether or not he will hit the ground or fall through it until he does. Wait till he jumps, determine where he is going, and then move. Preemptive jumps or dashes can just end up with you running into Zote. Now if all of his weird attacks weren't enough of a pain in the ass, Zote can also summon things. He has 2 types of summoning moves. One summons Zotelings and the other summons volatile Zotelings. When summoning Zotelings, Zote will stand still and spit out up to 3 in a sitting. They will come in 2 types, flying and jumping. Both types are fairly inaccurate, but in the chaos that is fighting Zote, they can be in the wrong place at the wrong time for you, so it's best to deal with them immediately, as soon as you're actually allowed to hit them. Finally, when summoning volatile Zotelings, Zote will stand still, and 3 to 4 volatile Zotelings will spawn, some delayed from each other, in random locations across the arena. These Zotelings explode when hit or after a short delay. and deal 2 mask worth of damage. Once Zote is done summoning them, he can immediately go back to doing any other action, so you must avoid both him and the explosions. Your best bet is to hit Zote a few times while he's summoning, then move to the most open area you can find, so you have space to avoid Zote. Remember, if you have to choose between an explosion or getting hit by Zote, Zote does less damage. Hopefully this will help you understand and avoid getting hit most of the time. If you take damage, the best time to heal is during Zote's down phase, where he falls onto his back. Be careful though, you only have enough time to heal about 2 masks if you start immediately after he goes down, otherwise only 1. You could attempt to get a heal in during either of his summoning actions, but that's valuable time you could just be hitting him. Luckily, Zote has one of the longest defeat animations in the Pantheon, so you can get plenty of heals then. So there you go, a bad gamer's guide on how to beat Zote. If this works well for you, you can go die to Umu if you're in the 3rd Pantheon, or if you're in the 5th Pantheon, well fuck.